Hey guys, Scott here. Today we're going to talk about bully squads. I saw a tweet from a content creator named Swarm. He's a really good Survivor player. I would definitely follow him. But he was talking about the term bully squad. And I kind of wanted to talk about this as well because I think that term in Dead by Daylight is horribly misused, overused, and I think we need to address that. So first off, what is a bully squad? Well, the problem with even beginning to define it is I think bully squad is a subjective term. What you might consider a bully squad, I might not consider a bully squad at all. But I think the general consensus is it's like a four-man group that tries to be aggressive against the killer, I guess. That's the closest I can come to it. So you're going to have things like people setting up a bunch of head-on stuns on you, bringing an Eerie of Crows offering and trying to boil over and like saboing hooks up in the main building, things like that. People that basically don't treat finishing the game as the main objective, trying to annoy the killer is their main objective. And to me, I don't really even view that as a bully squad because 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen in a match like that is they're going to fucking lose because no one's doing generators. They're all just dicking around trying to piss the killer off. And I don't really ever think it's possible to be bullied if you beat the shit out of the other team. It doesn't make sense when you think about it like that, right? You only get bullied if they destroy you, right? But if you beat them and they don't even come close to winning, how did you get bullied? It's like the joke's on you. I was only pretending. Like, you just got destroyed. How can you possibly be bullying me? But that's what the general consensus of the term is. But because of the subjective nature of the term, we have this whole scenario where it's kind of hard to describe what it actually is. Because in my opinion, what bully squads are have nothing to do with the players in the actual match. It has to do with imbalanced matchmaking. And the reason is, you'll notice good players never encounter bully squads, ever. They just simply don't encounter them ever. And it's not because they're going against a different pool of players or something like that. It's because they know how to handle the techniques that these groups are using, and so they never actually get bullied. They just destroy them when they're trying to fuck around like that. And you can have, on the flip side, a inexperienced killer going against 4 decent players that are not even trying to do anything. They're just good at the game. That's their only crime. They're in a survive with friends and they're just simply good at the game. And the killer might call them a bully squad when they have no intentions of bullying. It's just matchmaking being, unfortunately, very unfair and putting an inexperienced player versus 4 very good players. It does happen, and it happens way too frequently. And in that scenario, it's totally fair for the killer to feel like they're getting bullied because the mismatching of skill there they are going to get destroyed. And again, it has nothing to do with survivors trying to go out of their way to bully. It just happens because the skill-based matchmaking never really works properly. And then we have scenarios where people, feel like they're helpless. And that's sort of another symptom of the whole bully squad thing. So bully squads aren't really, it's hard to describe it. They're not really real. I guess they are real. It's just, they're not really that common. And the ones that you think that may be bully squads usually are not. People are not going into this game playing with friends with the sole purpose of going, hey, let's just ruin this killer's day. That just doesn't happen. I mean, there are a couple of sadists everywhere in the world. I'm just saying the majority of the player base are not psycho sadists. That's just not the main reason they do that. The main reason that they do that is because they like dicking around with their friends, having fun, trying to do stupid shit, trying to get locker saves, trying to set up Sabo plays, trying to set up body blocks, trying to do all this stuff. Because, as Storm said, doing generators with your friends is just boring. So they try to do things in other ways. I would rather go against a million bully squads in a row than a single super efficient team that knows how to split up with some toolboxes and I can't snowball for pressure or anything like that. I would rather go against a bully squad every single time over a super efficient team. That shit sucks. That's when I feel helpless as a killer. If I get a huge map like, I don't know, Rotten Fields or Mother's Dwelling or something like that, and it's a really good team that knows how to perfectly split up their pressure, man, I feel pretty helpless in that scenario unless I'm a killer that's, actually got some map control. So those matches suck for me. But the matches where people are trying to just head-on stun you and get Metal of Man stacks and blind you with pallets and stuff like that, fuck, bring it on. I'm going to win those games every single time because they don't prioritize finishing generators. They prioritize dicking around with their friends and having fun. And those matches end up being pretty fun. They're totally separate from the standard DBD experience. No longer am I worried about gen efficiency and gen control and kicking gens and stuff like that. Now I'm thinking, how am I going to counter the ridiculous shit that they're trying to do right now? And it becomes like a fun, separate game. So I love going against people that the others would claim to be bully squads. I found those matches very fun. But the main culprit, I think, is just the imbalanced matchmaking, because good players don't go against bully squads because they know how to deal with it. But it's not because the players are special, it's because the killer player themselves knows how to handle it. So imbalanced matchmaking, I think, is the main result of the term bully squad. As a side note, I don't think any actions in Dead by Daylight are considered bullying. This is more just a subjective take, so you can agree or disagree. I just don't think any actions in this game can be described as real bullying. Bullying is a really nasty, nasty thing. I have known people in school that have taken their own life from bullying. I know like what it can actually do to somebody. It is completely mentally destroying. If somebody presses control at a pallet in a video game and they happen to leave through the exit gate, you're not getting bullied, man. I'm just that is an insult to the people that I know that have taken their own lives for real bullying. You're not getting bullied. Go touch grass. Go get some perspective on the world. It's just an animation in a video game, dude. If it's annoying you, just turn your monitor off and do something else. You don't have that option with real bullying. It follows you everywhere. It's like a plague. You cannot get away from that shit. In Dead by Daylight, you can just minimize the game. You can't be getting bullied there. The only exception I will say is if they take it to post-game chat. If you're going against a group and in post-game chat, they look up who you are via your profile or whatever, and they start doing personal digs at you and stuff like that. See, even then, that's not necessarily bullying. That's just being a jerk. It becomes bullying if they like repeatedly do it. I think bullying needs to be a repeated offense. If some guy like, shoves you somewhere, that's a dick move, but if that's the only thing that ever happens, you're not getting bullied. Someone just did a dick move to you. Bullying, I think, is a psychological, repeated, attempt to break someone's psyche down. That's like real bullying, and that's like really terrible shit. So if people like start harassing you in post-game chat or in other venues or stuff like that, then yes, then it does actually become a problem. But if you're just getting destroyed by a team, I promise they're not there just to make you miserable. They're prioritizing their own fun, probably at the expense of yours, but they're not trying to bully you, and you're not getting bullied. All right, that was just a side tangent because I know people that have been bullied, and the fact that people compare the shit in this game to getting bullied, it pisses me off. But finally, I wanted to talk about the whole ranked matchmaking and casual matchmaking. I watched a video by Giga Chad Choi the other day where he was asking his viewers and stuff like that what they thought about having two separate, modes, like a ranked mode and a casual mode. And this conversation ties in with the whole bully squad thing and the whole reason I think bully squads are really just bad matchmaking. And the reason for that is if you're going to be playing in a game with your friends, you're probably not going to want to do the comp mode. The thing is that most of the comp players and people that want to be super sweaty about the game, they're not in the queues to begin with. They're off doing scrims and custom matches and stuff like that. You're not encountering them anyway. So if you had a separate mode and like a casual mode, you're not removing them from your pool. They were never in your pool to begin with. So what is going to happen is less experienced players are going to go against four friends that don't take the game super seriously, but they happen to be pretty decent at the game. They're going to run into them and go, oh my God, this is a sweat squad. They're just smurfing in the casual mode now. When really the four people are, one of them's watching House of the Dragon, one of them's smoking the blunt, like they're not even like really trying in the game. They just happen to be pretty good at the game, and the matchmaking fucked up and put them with a less experienced player. So the less experienced player feels like they're getting bullied. So what's going to happen is if there's a separate mode, I think not much is going to change. The people that are playing in comp matches and stuff like that might switch to the ranked mode, but they were never in your pool to begin with. What's going to happen is people in the casual mode are going to expect super easy games, because when people say, I want people to play casually, what they really mean is, I want the other team to play casually. I can still play to win, but the other team has to be all nice and stuff like that. That's what people really mean. And they're going to have an unpleasant surprise when they realize that both sides still want to win. And it's just really going to come down to matchmaking to determine whether or not your match feels good or bad. So basically, universal solution to all this, make matchmaking not terrible. That's it.